Hello everybody. Today we are going to make something in honor of Tips and Tricks Week, which is my crumble topping, and it is multi-purpose. So the best part about it is if you have a sweet tooth like I do, you can make this ahead and keep it in the freezer, and then you can whip up desserts really quickly. So you're going to find that it's pretty useful, I hope. So in this bowl right here, I have one stick of unsalted butter that I have chopped up into little pieces. I have 1 cup of all-purpose flour, unbleached. Put in there. Okay. This is 1/2 cup of dark brown sugar. I think I mumbled something about it in a different video of mine, but I don't buy light brown sugar. I feel like I don't know. I've always felt like, what's the point when you can have the dark brown sugar? I'm probably going to get hate mail for that, but that's just how I feel. Everyone has their opinion. Okay, so this is packed dark brown sugar that I'm putting in here. And this is a 1/4 cup of white sugar that I'm also putting in. And the last ingredient that we are putting in here is 1/4 teaspoon, that's the 1/8 teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. Put that in here. I feel like desserts all need a little bit of salt, for balance. That's just, I feel like it's crucial. I don't like desserts that haven't had any sort of seasoning like that added. And then all you're going to do, you can definitely do this in a food processor, but I love doing this by hand. So what you're going to do is you're going to get in here and you're just going to start working the lumps and sugar and flour and everything together. And I think that this is really meditative, which is why I like to do this without using the food processor. But you could definitely start it in the food processor and then finish it by hand if you didn't feel like doing this or getting your hands dirty or whatever. But the point is to just keep working it until basically most of the butter is going to get worked into the flour, and you're going to be able to grab a handful of it and it'll clump together. So I am going to keep doing this. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing because you'll be bored watching me do this standing here. But I will tell you a little history of this with me is that I started making apple crisp like forever ago, and I have never written down my topping for my apple crisp, and this kind of inspired me to do it. When I worked at a restaurant, I would make this topping and I would freeze it for this customer that would come in, and then I would make him an apple crisp when he'd come in. So that's the inspiration behind this recipe for today. And I think you'll just find that it's useful to keep around. So I'm going to keep working on this. I will see you guys in a few minutes, and then we'll talk about how you can utilize this crisp topping. All right, this is what your crumble topping should look like. When you squeeze it, you can make more crumbles, and I want you to do that when you're putting it in your container to put it in the freezer, or if you're going to use it. I like to chill this, even if you're going to use this like really soon. I would put this in the refrigerator for at least half an hour, just to let the butter harden up a little bit. I wouldn't just put this directly on something. So I want you to give it a good squeeze, make your crumbles like this, and then put it in your freezer container. And I'll be right back with you because I'm going to show you one of the many ways that you can utilize this delicious topping. Hello. It has been a few days since I made the topping. Actually, I make this topping all the time because I like to have this for breakfast. But I'm just going to show you how easy it is to turn it into a fruit crisp. Again, you can use the topping for scones or muffins, but fruit crisp is my favorite. So all I'm going to do, this is a container of blueberries, organic blueberries that I washed. So I'm just going to dump that in this container. For this recipe, I would say a flatter container is going to do you more favors than a deeper container. It's better if your fruit is in not a huge layer, because if it is, then what's going to happen is your topping is going to kind of steam and get a little gummy, and you don't want that to happen. So you don't want like a huge amount of fruit and then the topping on the top. It's better to have like a little bit of fruit, a little bit of topping. So this is the container of organic strawberries that I washed, and I just cut them in half. If they're big, you can quarter them. These weren't super big. And also, if your fruit is not very ripe, oh, I forgot one, then you can definitely put your fruit in a little bit. I would put like a tablespoon of sugar with your fruit. You can also put a little cinnamon in there. If you're doing apples, for sure you want to do a little bit of cinnamon. But my fruit's really ripe, so I'm not going to worry about adding extra sugar. And if you're watching your sugar intake, I should say, you definitely don't need to do that. But this fruit's ripe again, so I'm not going to add extra sugar to it. All right, so I'm just kind of getting this into a single layer in my dish here. And all I'm going to do after that is done is I'm going to start arranging the topping on it. So I'm going to start that right now, and then I'll do a close up and show you guys what it is that I'm doing. It's not very complicated. This is really easy. You're just taking your crisp. This is straight out of the freezer. You don't need to defrost it. It doesn't need to sit around. This is easy, easy, easy. I have a couple of bigger chunks. You can just break those up. And I'm just going to start sprinkling this on the crisp. And I will do a close up right now so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so like I said, all I'm doing is sprinkling this over the fruit in an even layer. The recipe I gave you will definitely be enough for one big crisp like this, but you could also do smaller individual portions. I love having this for breakfast. So what I usually do after I make it is I will freeze it. And then I will freeze it into individual portions of fruit crisp, which it freezes really well. And then I'll heat it up for breakfast, have it with some yogurt. And that is one of my favorite breakfasts of all time. This, I ran out of plastic wrap, so I used aluminum foil just to line this container that I had. So forgive me for my crudeness, I should say, here. All right, almost done. Again, super easy. If you have this in your freezer and you're like, oh my gosh, you have company and you need to make dessert really quickly while you're eating dinner, this is the perfect dish for that, because you can serve it with ice cream. You can serve it with whipped cream. It's really delicious any which way. Honestly, I have nothing bad to say about all the different ways you can use this. So I'm just making sure the crisp is even. It looks pretty good to me. I am going to, oh yeah, don't forget, dust off your corners because little sugary bits can burn in the oven, so we don't want that. This is going to go into a 350-degree oven for about 45 minutes to an hour. It depends on how much fruit you have. It depends on how hot your oven is. But you want this to get nice and golden brown, not burnt. And by that time, the fruit should have cooked as well. And I will show you what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. Okay, the crisp just came out of the oven. It's bubbling hot, as you can see. All the corners are bubbling and delicious. It's got a nice golden color, but it's not burned. It looks pretty good to me. So this has to cool off completely. And then later we will give it a taste. Yeah. Okay, the fruit crisp has cooled off, so I'm not going to burn myself. And I thought I would taste it. I'm going right in. I'm going in. What can I say? Not that classy of a broad. Sometimes. Makes me so happy. This fruit did not need any additional sugar. It was very ripe. Tastes amazing. The top is crispy and a little caramelized, and this will be perfect for breakfast or perfect with some ice cream or, like I said, whipped cream. And remember, you can use any fruit you want. This is meant to be something you can throw together, but I hope that it becomes one of your favorite recipes, and I will see you next time.